The general senses, also called the somatic senses, are distributed over the entire body and include senses like touch, pressure, stretch, movement, temperature, and pain. In order for us to perceive a sensation, the nerve signal must reach the brain. The somatosensory pathway from receptor to the brain takes 3 neurons. The peripheral sensory neuron stimulated is the first order neuron, and it runs from the receptor to the spinal cord or brainstem. Once there, it synapses with the second order neuron, which decussates, which means cross the midline, runs up the spinal cord or brainstem to the contralateral thalamus of the diencephalon. The thalamus processes the input and synapses with a third order neuron, and a nerve signal is relayed to the cerebrum. The part of the cerebrum that receives the somatosensory signals is called the post-central gyrus. It's called this because it's the gyrus immediately caudal to the central sulcus. Its cortex is called the primary somatosensory cortex, and adjacent to that is the somatosensory association area. In order for one to even be aware of a sensory stimulation, the nerve signal from it must reach the primary somatosensory cortex. Making any cognitive sense of the sensation only happens once the nerve signal reaches the association area. The primary somatosensory cortex can be mapped out to show that each part of the body has its own location on the cortex. The area of the cortex dedicated to a body region is proportional to how richly innervated by receptors that part is. We call this a sensory homunculus, and it's how we know the location on our body that is being stimulated. You see, when a receptor is stimulated, the only response it's capable of is a local potential that may or may not reach threshold and become an action potential. Even if it does, all it can send to the brain is a nerve signal. It doesn't send a quote-unquote message, like a letter in the mail, telling the brain what and where to feel. The brain knows what and where to feel because of what kind of receptor that was stimulated and to where on the primary somatosensory cortex its nerve signal traveled.